So good afternoon. Welcome everyone. Thank you so much for joining us in this webinar. So I would like to seize the opportunity, first of all, to say that we feel so glad today to join you in this webinar. Thank you so much for the International Student Development Council for giving us such opportunity to be with you today. And actually special thanks to the president of IIU International Student Development Council, Ms. Maha Shhadeh. It's a privilege to have you among us today, and thank you so much, Ms. Maha. Also, we would like to express our thanks at the beginning to the IIU founder, Piyush Pandit. It would be so pleasure for us to get introduced to one of the most important webinars in the field of education, entitled The 4 C's of Education. And we have Montessori Education and the 4 C's of Success. So we're going to spend one whole hour together today. Welcome everyone. And thank you for joining us from all over the world. It's going to be, hope that it's going to be some fruitful time together. It's Hanan Al Zein, certified trainer from Lebanon. I'm going to be with you in this seminar to discuss some of the most important objectives that's going to be discussed so far related to Montessori education. At the beginning, of course, we will be finding out what is Montessori method, why are we gathering here so far, to know more about this approach and this philosophy, to explore more about the skills that lie behind this philosophy, especially the 21st century skills, and understand most of the principles that lie behind such kind of education. Throughout this seminar or webinar, we're going also to discover some of the practical activities and find out how these practical activities help us in developing critical thinking, collaboration, creativity, and communication among our students. Of course, after that, we will be providing all of the educators and parents who are joining us in such a seminar today with some strategies and insights that will be used with our kids, especially in early childhood education, and give them some kind of valuable knowledge that's going to go ahead. Okay? So at the beginning, let's say, what is Montessori method? Why are we here gathering to tackle some of the most important controversial issues so far? Actually, when we talk about Maria Montessori, we will be talking about one of the first female Italian doctors, physicians, who used a kind of sensory motor technique or sensory motor method, what we call approach. And at the beginning, she developed this method with disabled children in Italy, of course. Now, her style of learning within the coming years after that was based on an educational theory, and this theory really sprung all over the world later on. Of course, we're not here to go over the life of Montessori, but we would like to know that this Montessorian philosophy extended more and more and more in all the schools all over the world, and it's really now considered to be one of the most important educational approaches all over.
Hi, sorry for delay. Rose. Hi, sorry for delay. For the delay.
So why Montessori, and what's this Montessori method? Actually, her philosophy lies in what we call sensory learning. Actually, where does intelligence come from in education? The hand is the instrument of intelligence according to Montessori method. The child uses some kind of manipulative activities, hands-on learning, in order to refine his skills, in order to resharpen his intelligence. And this kind of manipulation and hands-on learning, learning through fun, working through fun, is the opportunity that will give our kids the experience by touching, by handling, by sensory experience. And that's what we are after today, and what we are going to go over in this webinar today. So, all in all, Montessori is named after Dr. Maria Montessori. And as we said, she was one of the most important educators of the 20th century. She was the innovator, as we call, innovator of such classroom practices that we call the classroom without walls. It really gave what we called like a legacy of a method that combined both philosophy of freedom, philosophy of critical thinking, philosophy of self-development, philosophy of sensory learning, that builds our students as holistic personality outside the box. This is the approach behind Montessori. And then when we say Montessori, as you notice, please, if you say Montessori 1870, Montessori in the late 19s, watch out with me, please. Then, how come Montessori at the same time in the 21st century? What brings such kind of philosophy that started in the late 19s to the 21st century? Actually, the partnership and all the researchers of the 21st century introduced what we call the 4 C's of success. And the academic skills that Montessori introduces, and we're going to see very soon in our webinar videos and slides so far. Actually, these interdisciplinary approaches foster what we call the learning of innovation, the learning of creativity, the learning of critical thinking. Though it started in the late 19s, Montessori modernized, Montessori continued and developed and so far to enlighten our students' personality, because it was building students for life and not for classrooms. Students outside the books, outside of the boxes. That's why we are gathering now here to know not only the 4 C's of success, but the 4 C's of success in Montessori education as well. Which of course they stand for C, creativity, C, collaboration, C, critical thinking, and C, communication. Actually, we build executive functioning in our students at a very young age. At a very young age, they start to learn, to explore, to question, to experiment, to solve the problems when we develop their curiosity. So at a very early age, we start to think and learn and teach our kids to think critically. How? By learning from the world around them. At a very early age, we teach our students to collaborate, to work together, to accomplish joint tasks, to work on projects, to find solutions together. This is in Montessori approach, what we are after it all the time. Also, in Montessori approach, we're going to see how students are encouraged to think creatively, to think outside of the box, to think how to analyze the problems and how to find the problems for themselves, how to communicate with each other, how to build the relationship with their teachers and with the kids as well, on a relation built with love, with respect. How they embrace making a process.
كرة
all of these
يسمح
equal 4
لنور
of
الشمس.
success. Let's see how. I'm going to share with you one video, and we're going to see that how is this implied. Actually, Montessori curriculum is introduced for us within 5 main areas. 5 main areas. They highlight these 4 C's of success that we're after in building the personalities of our students. Number 1, Montessori introduced for us what we call the practical life curriculum, where students feel independent, develop their fine and the gross motor skills, which were prerequisites for pre-academic skills. Second one, the sensorial life, or the sensorial life curriculum, where students find the way for intelligence by discovering all the materials, all the world around them through their senses. After that, students are introduced to language and math areas around 4 to 5 and 6 years old. And then the 5th curriculum part of Montessori education, where all of these 4 C's or skills are covered, is cultural life, where Montessori sheds the light on history, biology, geography, science, etc. So throughout this curriculum that is really making a hit nowadays in all over the world, and you will notice that when you go over and surf the net, you will see that we have millions of schools that are called Montessori schools. We will see that all of these curriculums build students in these 4 skills, or build their personalities, build their innovation, build their learning on by shedding the light more and more, by fostering more and more critical thinking, communication, collaboration, and creativity. Okay, let's see how these ideas are covered. Please share with me some of these ideas here over here. Look at the slides, please. I'm going to share with you these kind of classes where you see that this is Montessori class, as you see, the prepared environment, the materials here, that everything is well organized. This is the practical life. We see that all the materials are arranged and organized on shelves, very wide classrooms where students are able to move freely. As you see, this is the sensorial life. You see that they are not toys, by the way, they are materials, they are work cycle materials. You see that everything is natural, made up of wood, not plastic, environmentally friendly, and every tool has its meaning and its purpose. All of the activities are purposeful, are meaningful, in a way that students are very well prepared to math and to academic skills and to language from these areas. Of course, now it's not our point of subject that we're going to go in details or go deeper in all of these, but let's have a look over here. All of these materials were founded in Casa di Bambini, the children's house that Montessori built in the early years. And really, these educational methods are still relevant till the 21st century. Okay, if you look over here, look at the language materials, how language is really learned, and through wooden, sensory, hands-on, manipulatives, sounds and letters are learned in a work cycle. Look at the math area here, where students can collaborate together, can work together. And here the cultural part, where we can understand more the concept of biology, zoology, history, geography, and be introduced to the whole world in this way. This is how Montessori class was at the beginning when she first invented her class, and this is how it was developed later on in this way. Okay, you see here we have some students who are moving freely all around, independently. They are intrinsically motivated, as you see here. They are not looking for stars or for good points. There are no grades, no tests, no teacher's desk. The teacher is a guide. She's a facilitator, moving around the students, satisfying their needs, working according to their desires, according to their abilities. We have mixed age students, as you see, peer learning. Students are learning from each other. The adult students are role models. The younger students are imitating the elder ones, and so on. Okay? Let's see more about this education in more educational activities that will foster the 4 C's that we are talking about. But before going on, I would like to highlight one more point, please, which is called the sensitive period. According to Montessori, we build the child of the future during the early years of childhood in what we call sensitive periods. According to Montessori, we have what we call sensitive period. These sensitive periods are periods in the children's lives that come for one moment, but they last forever. Where we, for example, let's see, if we don't exploit the sensitive period of language and communication when the kid is 1.5 years or 2 years, and we let him be exposed to screens all the time, he might be developing virtual autism later. He might be having communication disorder. So according to Montessori, we should prepare fruitful, purposeful, meaningful activities to our kids. We should exploit these sensitive periods, because once they pass on, it would be so difficult later on to substitute. It's the same as not only for language, for order, for grace, for courtesy, for music, for math, for spatial relationships, for language. So according to her, we have these kind of sensitive periods in the child's life that we should exploit as teachers and as parents with activities. And according to her, some students turn to develop some learning disabilities or some kind of difficulties in their learning process, just because we teachers are not preparing them very well by using incorrect strategies. So this is what she was highlighting it as a theory, and we're going to see that in the video so ahead. So as you see, sensitive periods is one of the bedrocks of Montessori theory of education and philosophy, which is it's called window of opportunity. Why? Because in such sensitive periods, the child will be like a sponge. Imagine the sponge. How is it going to work? The sponge is going to absorb everything from the environment. Just as this little child, he has a very little mind, and this little mind is going to absorb all the knowledge from experiences all around by working on. In this way, he will be teaching himself. And this is what she called the absorbent mind. And I like to highlight on these 2 theories, not to talk about theoretical practices, but to go out of this webinar, tangling out and hanging some kind of strategies that related to education of Montessori, which are these 2 bedrocks or milestones, which is the sensitive period from one way and the absorbent mind on the other way. Once we respect these 2 two theories or two philosophies. While we prepare the students for life and for education and for school, we will be building the 4 C's of education. Let's go over and have a look in this video. Yeah. How can we nurture love to learn in education of Montessori? I'm going to share it. 1 second, please.
I know that I always had fun with the things that I was doing. We were doing things that had academic aspects to them, but I never felt like I was just doing work because all the activities were so hands-on and you were building things and playing with things and manipulating materials. So I knew that I was learning, but I was having a good time doing it.
It's easier to do things with things that you could feel and you could see than having to do everything in your head.
As a preschooler, it's definitely choice oriented. It was fun to be able to go and choose works off the shelf, you know, whether it's something to do with geometry, they had rectangular prisms to work with, or fine motor skills with the art shelf, or everyday living where you could practice pouring and you don't know necessarily that you're learning things. There were just lots of very engaging activities to take part in, and it's fun.
I think it just comes from the Montessori teaching of follow the child and the whole community aspect as like we all obtain success together.
My mom and dad are always saying how they wish they had learned like I did. They really like the part where you could progress at your own pace, the hands-on learning, because they said what they got a chalkboard and piece of chalk.
It doesn't take long to realize a Montessori classroom is different from most other classrooms. The children are actively engaged, working independently. A closer look reveals each child is involved in working with hands-on materials that stimulate all of his or her senses. Materials that communicate complex concepts in a concrete way. Montessori materials are carefully sequenced so that each activity has an orderly and logical process to follow. This allows children to organize their thinking and problem-solving skills in a clear way, and to absorb this knowledge through their senses. All the materials in a Montessori classroom are organized into one of 5 curriculum areas.
As you see, mixed age groups, typically arranged by age groups based on these 3 years. We have infants and up to 3 years. We have 3 to 6. We have 6 to 9. And later on, she developed 9 to 12 and some classes for adolescents. As you see here, older students can lead and guide the younger ones when they are struggling, and the younger students can benefit from learning and moving at their pace. And this is what we call cooperation and communication as well. If you look at this, at the materials, you will find out that the classroom environment is highly organized. In a typical classroom, we see that it's not, of course, as the traditional one. We have shelves full of learning materials. As you see, children are, they can move freely. They have free access to work together, not to play. They are learning through fun, through work cycles. And even the classroom materials, they are all organized in a way that they can provide corrective feedback. And now we're going to see how materials themselves give corrective feedback, how students control their error, how students correct themselves without pinpointing by the teacher that this is wrong, correct it. No, children by themselves find out their errors and correct them. The materials themselves are designed in this way. So children can see their mistakes and correct them even without the teacher's supervision for help. Now let's see the 5 corners that we talked about earlier. How are these skills implemented in which parts of the curriculum? Let's see, please.
Practical life or organize knowledge through their senses. All the materials in a Montessori classroom are organized into one of 5 curriculum areas: practical life, sensorial, language, math, and cultural.
So as you see, we find out of this webinar, now we have 5 main curriculum of Montessori all over the world. So it is practical life, where students are taught daily life skills and fostering and developing their fine and gross motor skills, grace and courtesy, where Montessori establishes all the behavioral conducts of respect, silence, discipline, intrinsic motivation, critical thinking, and so on. And then later on, we have the sensorial life, where students discover the world through all their senses, deep senses and superficial senses as well. They learn through sensory materials. And then after that, we have the corner of mathematics, when they were first introduced to math, and now language, math, and culture, the academics, of course, elementary and high elementary classes. Okay, now let's move to finalize with these points.
Hands-on activity.
What kind of activities do we offer in Montessori classroom? Okay.
Maria Montessori was one of the first educators to recognize that children learn best when they are engaged in hands-on activities. She believed that children need to move freely in their environment and to investigate whatever interests them. For these reasons, Montessori insisted that the classroom be beautiful. Through this freedom, the child becomes more comfortable, taking the time to contemplate all aspects of an activity: the feel, the visual appearance, the sound of the materials, even the smell. This curiosity to explore the sensual world around them is part of what makes learning fun. The children enjoy the process over the product.
Okay. So we will end up this statement, the first part of this webinar. So children enjoy the process over the product. And this is what we are after. Why? By these principles, how they are working together, they work independently. According to them, work is play and their play is work. The environment is truly prepared. Everything is prepared in a well-organized manner. Students depend on the science of observation and modeling. They observe each other. They are actively engaged, my dear. They are working independently. Okay, they are enjoying the freedom, but the freedom is within their limits. They have their own workspace on their mat, floor mat, or table mat. I respect my space, and you have to respect your, I respect your space, sorry, and you have to respect my space. So everything is carefully organized and carefully sequenced. Well, we have this, all of these principles are highlighted in such kind of secrets that find out the 4 C's of success. Okay, now to go over again, how are these 4 C's of success implemented? Let's go over the first one so fast. Critical thinking. Critical thinking. What do we mean by critical thinking? How are we fostering this activity throughout our days nowadays? What do you think? Actually, when we say critical thinking, we mean that students are able to think critically, to solve their problems, to analyze things that go over all around, to think outside the box, to find out their own solutions. And this is what's really highlighted in Montessori wise. especially in math areas. So when we say critical thinking, this means that we are controlling the error. Students correct their mistakes by themselves. And they in the end, they are not only able to correct mistake or to find solutions for their problems, they are decision makers. In this way, we are creating critical thinking in Montessori wise. While they are building, for example, a pink tower, or while they are building this brown star in order, making it from the thickest to the thinnest, or arranging it in order, they are thinking of it every 1 single second, and they are correcting their error by themselves. We're going to watch a video to see how students correct their errors by themselves. Especially, we have this another activity, for example, which is called the spindle box. And these are purely, typically Montessori activities. And the first one, it's called the broad star or the brown star, where the decimal system is introduced to students at an early age. Watch out, it consists of 10 pieces, which is an introduction for the decimal system later on in math. And it's arranged from the thickest, it gives till the thinnest. It gives students some kind of muscular memory, especially those who have some kind of problems in their fine or gross motor skills. It gives students some kind of muscular memory of what is heavy and what is light is, for example. Watch out, this another tool, which is called spindle box. What do you think is it used for? A spindle box, as you see here, we have some kind of sticks where students they have to count. They are first introduced to the notion of zero here. They hold up zero by nothing, and they count the sticks one by one using their muscles as well. They will be forming muscular memory of what is 1, what is 2, what is 3, as the number of sticks are growing up bigger and bigger in size. Imagine how students are adding in this addition board form. Students are using these sensory materials in order to be transforming step by step to what we call concrete objects, or the paper wise. Look at this, how wonderful, how amazing. Look at these tools. They are not toys, they are work tools. The student is working, not because he needs a grade or a star or a smiley face. He's working because you, as a guide, as a teacher, works very carefully on this philosophy, prepared a very interesting and charming environment to develop such kind of skills. With the beats, you see, he's building the tens and ones and the numbers with the beats. Look at this. This is what we call a resource. It's not a book with pictures only. It's a corner full of activities about geometric shapes, geometric solids, cylinders, as you see, knob cylinders, knobless cylinders, towers, and so on. All of these activities create what we call critical thinking skills, problem-solving skills, analytical skills at an early age when we see 3 to 6. Can you imagine? Let's go over now and see one of the videos. Please think with me, why are some students facing a lot of difficulties at preschoolers? Why are some students struggling? Why are some students challenging? Is it because they are slow? No. Is it because they have poor abilities? Of course, no. Then why? It's maybe because it's here. It's because of our strategies. We have to search for these multisensory strategies. Thank you, Steve. And then go over, dig deep, and then we will find out the real child inside. Let's watch, please. Okay. Yeah. I'm going to share this with you to make it let's see now how this teacher is applying one activity with the kids. Please, let's observe very carefully this activity that's called the broad stir, quoted from the sensorial curriculum. I would like you please to watch out the method applied over here. Of course, this is one-to-one, but later on we can apply it in a group as well. Watch out the guide, the role of the guide, how she's using the modeling technique, and then how she's inviting the child again to go over after she practices the what we call the science of observation, the act of observation. Modeling and observation, these are the keys for success. Focus, concentration, looking, observing, thinking, analyzing, keeping in mind, memorizing, then applying again and again. Wow. Let's
we are going to be grading the broad stare from the biggest one to the smallest one. Okay, Manya, I'm going to have a twin first, and then when I'm done, it's going to be your turn. Okay? Okay.
please watch out the kid, how she's observing the teacher. Now, if you see, the student arranges the blocks, and then after that, she makes sure that there is no one that is misarranged by this very little piece. This material gives corrective feedback by itself. The student herself thinks carefully, looks, discovers the error, If there is any mistake, she will be correcting it. And then after that, she will be controlling her error by herself. Okay, let's have a look at another activity before we go ahead. And this activity is called the Pink Tower. You will be noticing the classroom, the materials that we talked about before, the prepared environment, every single detail that paves the way for creativity, for critical thinking, for communication. Watch out the relation between the child and the teacher. No shouting, no stress. Everything is built upon respect and love as well. You will, of course, looking at other skills in the coming part. So this is one of the most important also activities that is very popular in Montessori curriculum, and that is called the Pink Tower. Let's look how the Pink Tower is organized and how the student himself will be noticing his error, will be observing, and will be correcting it as he will be.
Just Miss Hanan, if you can check up your screen, because I think we just have a problem. It's still the same. Thank you.
It's okay.
Great. It's working now, because sometimes because of connection issue.
Yes.
Thank you a lot.
Thank you.
Hello everybody, Leanne here from Wonderful Montessori, and today we are working with the Pink Tower, and I'm going to be working with Lawrence today. Okay, Lawrence, can you read on my point? Today we're going to build the Pink Tower, okay, from the biggest one to the smallest one. I'm going to have two, and then I'm going to...
So as you see, this activity develops judgment. When we say critical thinking, then organizing, judgment, patience, in addition to imagination as well, which is very cognitive skills that we needed, especially for our preschoolers before going into reading and writing. When we have any child who come to any clinic for therapeutic purposes, we don't work on reading and writing directly. We go over the cognitive skills. Is he focusing well? Is he concentrating well? Is he discriminating between objects well? Does he have good visual and auditory discrimination? So later on, he can discriminate between sounds a or t, s or m, etc. How is his working memory or his short memory working? How is visual memory working? So later on, he doesn't have confusion between sounds or letters when he reads. So watch out, Montessori curriculum. It really finds out all the foundation for all of these academic skills later on. All of these lie in the secrets of these activities. Patience, calmness, to foster observation, of course. The child is then invited to work the same. No interruption of observation, no talking during the application. It's the secret of observation. The child is looking at the achievement, and then he's invited to work again the same way. So this was some kind of glimpse inside Montessori world. let's see, this is a 5. Is it okay? So far, we worked on these forces, and then as you see, all of these activities foster such kind of forces. How then still communication is based, as you see, the students are not only working together, as you see here, in some larger groups, students can cooperate, as we talked before, younger students and elder students as well, working together, discovering, especially in cultural way, here, collaborate together when they cooperate together in their cooperative play. All of these activities foster some kind of teamwork, leadership among each other, respect among each other, which definitely play very big and important role in establishing collaboration. Also, one of the most important activities that is fostered within the Montessori classroom is what we call the creativity. You will see that one of the out of the brown tower and the pink tower that we have just watched, look how what students might do. You see, this is very recent during Corona time too. Okay, this is one of the most important Montessori schools throughout the world. So students are given these, look, students in Montessori are great of thinking outside the box. They explore these ideas, not only to solve the problems, but they not only to discuss, but they are invited to explore this kind of creativity and to share ideas. Look here, once he's taught how to build up the pink tower and how to build up the brown stair, he's coming up with something outside the box. Look at this one. So he's giving some kind of promotion for his self-expression. Not only in this, even in language areas, students listen to each other, follow up work, make up a book, make up a chart, make up an oral presentation. Artwork is being incorporated in their daily work. All of this is really promoting self-expression. So if you look over here, look at this, how nice. This is built by a student. Creativity is all the time being encouraged in this way. So here students are given open-ended, process-based way in order to go over here and there. Okay, look over there. Wow, all of the materials are mixed together in such kind of activities. When we see here the cylinders, the pink tower, the brainstorm, the red rods, all of these very famous activities are mixed together in one of the activities. Now, what is the last seed of success in Montessori education? It is communication. And of course, what do we mean by communication? Yes. When students communicate together, they are given a chance to listen to each other, to listen to their teacher, to respect each other so much in a way that they build positive relation all the time in their successful relation and successful educational experience. You will see that communication is the heart of Montessori philosophy. Okay, so this collaboration that is made, this active participation of the students, the agreements, the posters, all of these, the expectations found, the opportunities that are given at an early age, even in preschools, all of these foster some kind of communication and bring us some kind of leaders that build self-confidence, that build communication skills, that are really prepared for the middle life later on. Okay. Of course, now this communication, as you see in the videos, is really fostered by the positive relationships within the guides themselves, the directors, as they are called, and not only teachers, where they build this trust and respect among each other. So, and these are good ideas to end up with and see how all of these 4 skills are built in Montessori education. This is what we call lifelong social skills, lifelong digital age skills, lifelong critical thinking, collaboration, communication, and creativity skills that we need in everyday school, not only in Montessorian schools. By focusing on such, of course, educational approach, we will be building a child for the future, as Montessori said. We will be building a lifestyle in Montessori, because really Montessori matters. When we say Montessori normalization, when we say Montessori back to nature, when we say Montessori the sensitive periods, the absorbent mind, the critical thinking, all of these skills that we talk about, we are really digging deep within the child in order to give him, pave the way for the fate of the future. And this is what Montessori said. Within the child, there is the fate of the future. Here where it lies. And I'd like to end up my presentation in this webinar by emphasizing on this very nice quote that I really like of Montessori, where she says that the education of a small child doesn't aim at preparing him for school, but it really aims at preparing him for life. This is what was Montessori after, in the very beginning of her life and later on, and this is what all modernized Montessori schools are also after in this century. To end up, I would like to show you this surprise. This was one of the most loving videos for myself, because Montessori is over here. Let's see. 1 second. We're going to find out. Are we on time?
Yeah, on time. Take your time.
Yes.
Maria Montessori, la geniale rinnovatrice dei sistemi di educazione dell'infanzia, è tornata in patria. Ti dirà lei stessa qualcosa del suo esilio.
L'Italia, sono 34. Napoli hanno chiuso tutte le scuole col biometro. Rimasi in Europa fino al 39. Poi dopo sono andata in India. E lì sono rimasta dei quali per 5 anni fui internato come nemico italiano. Io non potevo andare nei vari luoghi, ma venivano da tutte le parti gli indiani a me, e in questo modo ho potuto preparare circa 1500 maestri.
Quanto tempo rimarrà in Italia?
Io sono qui ospite del governo italiano per 2 mesi. Credo che sia per rimettere il mio metodo nelle scuole e anche per applicare alla nuova educazione i miei principi. Adesso io andrò per qualche mese in India e dopo, se Dio vuole, tornerò in Europa.
Se i bambini sapessero chi è la Montessori, questo omaggio diventerebbe plebiscito. Il suo è un metodo di liberazione morale e mentale dell'infanzia. Alle piccole ali che si aprono, questa donna infonde il coraggio e la responsabilità di tentare il volo.
So as you see, Montessori died. Her touches will be everlasting, because she builds the wings of the child, and she offers him the desire to try to fly and to fly and to fly and soar higher and higher.
Thank you, Ms. Hanan. We would like you actually to thank you for this insightful webinar. Thank you for your commitment. Thank you for your time. It was really amazing to listen to all this amazing information. And we just have the teachers we have in here are going to apply Just as a reminder for the teachers who are here, don't forget to just fill in the registration link for the certificate. Thank you again, and
Thank you, Ms. Maha. It was really my pride. I feel so grateful for giving me such an opportunity to be on the platform of IIU, and you are the best president ever. Thank you for giving us such opportunity to give such messages to the whole world. So thank you.
Honestly, we are just really honored and grateful to have you as one of IIU member. Thank you a lot for your time, and sure looking forward for more fruitful collaboration. Enjoy your time, all, and see you later on with more insightful webinars. Thank you again for your participation. Thank you for your time, and good night, good evening, every one of you. Goodbye.
Goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye, everyone.
Thank you for listening. Bye-bye.